Yeah, we'll place myself up here, and we'll move you guys over here. So it's just so that, like, as much as, like, the shot as well as the dialogue doesn't get blocked or anything, but as far as, like, well, if you recall my last JCS upload and how crazy, at least, like, killing your entire family over a cam girl was, this one's up there too. Just to say the least. This one is like, I swear I don't understand how anyone can think they can get away with this stuff, much less murdering your significant other by shoving them in a suitcase and letting them suffocate to death. I don't understand how one can sleep well at night knowing what they did and the fact that they recorded it and then are just like, that's not me, it's not my fault, it was an accident. Was it really? And I've always seen, like, other takes on this. I've seen the interrogation, I've seen other commentary on this, but JCS puts it into, like, a different perspective. It shows it in a different angle and the nuances of interrogation. And the levels of narcissism that Sarah Boone exhibits during all of this is just absolutely insane. So, again, keep in mind with as far as, like, how JCS works on this whole dealio, I will be pausing again just to point out some things that I'm noticing and interpreting, and just to give a little bit of background clarity. But do keep in mind the general gist of it. Abusive girlfriend, Sarah Boone, in perhaps maybe a drunken stupor along with her boyfriend at the time, who was also drunk at the time, claimed to have played hide and seek with each other, and she somehow convinced him to get into a suitcase to hide, and she zipped it closed. He said he couldn't breathe, she wasn't listening, and he suffocated to death. And she's saying she's not at fault because it was an accident. Yeah, it's a doozy. So I'm curious to see how this angle works.
What is the location of your emergency?
4748 France Court.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Keep in mind, she's the only one in the room. She was the only one in the building at the time. She was the last person to have contact with him. Listen to how she's saying that she found a dead body, regardless of if it's her boyfriend, her brother, her father, anybody relatively close to her, relationship-wise or familial-wise or whatever. When you find somebody dead, you're going to probably be freaking out. You're probably not going to be able to hold it together. You're trying to make sense of it and everything. The nonchalance she displays just immediately shows that detachment from responsibility. Just again, listen to how she's talking.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Okay, send the line for the fire department. Do not hang up.
You know, these things just happen.
Sorry, Rich. Just tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in a case and we were playing. Like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep and I woke up and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened.
You know, you fall asleep after you put your boyfriend in a suitcase and then you just kind of, forget about him. It happens. It happens. What more can you do?
Okay, is he hanging from somewhere or what, ma'am?
No, I pulled him out of the suitcase.
He was in a suitcase?
Yes, and I fell asleep.
Right, is he breathing?
No.
I need you to get him on the floor, flat on his back for me, okay?
I did. I tried giving him CPR.
Yeah, okay.
Purple.
Okay, listen to me. Lay him flat on his... Okay, ma'am, listen to me. I want you to lay him flat on his back for me on the floor.
I did.
Okay,
He's stiff and purple.
That's another thing she's pointing out. She is correct in the assumption that that is what rigor mortis is supposed to look like. But the fact that she's trying to use, like, medical lingo to describe the situation, and to me, sort of puts into this notion that she's smarter than everybody else in this situation. And whenever somebody relative to the case is saying or acting like they're the smartest person in this situation, you're not the smartest person. You're the most guilty person. They usually go hand in hand. Honesty is the best policy, but when you're speaking fast, trying to act smart, and are showing relative emotional disconnect to the entire situation, methinks you ain't being so honest with me, now are you?
Okay, man, that's fine. We're still going to do compressions on him, okay? Place the heel of your hand on his breastbone, right in the center of the chest.
Yes.
Put your
Yes, I know how to do CPR.
Tell.
Okay.
Please. Okay, you just gurgled.
Okay, listen to me. Place the heel of your hand right between his chest, right between his breastbones. Put your other hand on top of that hand. We want to pump his chest to me hard and fast, twice per second. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, stiff and purple is basically the blood settling in the body because it's not being pumped through. It is what rigor mortis looks like. That much is clear.
This is 42-year-old Sarah Boone, who you just heard on the 911 call a few seconds ago. Her boyfriend was 42-year-old George Torres Jr., who she locked inside a suitcase the night before, ultimately leading to him dying of suffocation. Sarah's explanation is that it was a totally unintentional and unforeseen accident, but what she's completely unaware of at this particular moment is the fact she recorded 2 videos on her phone last night, the first of which was taken at 11:12 p.m. and shows her laughing at George while he's zipped up in the suitcase. But George isn't laughing. He's asking to be let out and repeatedly stating that he can't breathe. The second video was recorded 11 minutes later, showing the same thing, except the suitcase was flipped over and in a different area of the apartment. Sarah is both unmistakably and heavily intoxicated in these videos, which may explain the fact she didn't delete them. It would be safe to assume that she has no idea the videos exist, and yes, you will see the moment she becomes aware of their existence. But we first have to acknowledge how this episode was even possible, and that would be the Law and Crime Network. They sent us the uncompressed documents that comprise this video, and almost every case we have covered, or will cover, is already available in its raw form on this channel, which includes the 2 main items of public record in the case of Sarah Boone, starting with the body cam footage, which is right where we left off.
Hello there. I had a cigarette, Lou. Get it for you, okay? Wait.
More concerned with, this is another, like, as far as the body cam footage is concerned, where Sarah's priorities are at this moment is made abundantly clear. Because at the moment right now, she's more concerned with a cigarette that she left in the back area of the house. I believe this is the back area. What did she say? Back porch. But can I go back into the room and maybe tamper with some things so that I don't look as guilty as I am? Sure, some guy died in there that I locked into his suitcase, but can I go get my cigarette real quick?
I really need something to drink.
I really need something to drink too. Left a soda in there.
What's going on? I just got here, so fill me in. No problem.
No problem. It's just murder. Freaking the narcissist here.
We're putting a puzzle together. We've been doing some artwork together.
You are putting a puzzle together?
Yes, we have a puzzle that we started in there.
So how do you end up in a suitcase?
But we're thinking, we had a bottle of wine last night. Okay. So then it's like, we decided to play hide and seek, right?
Okay.
So he gets in this.
Also, one thing that I've heard other commentary shows say is like, hide and seek feels like a weird game to play if there are only 2 of you. And the fact that one of his hiding spots he needed help getting into when you need the seeker's help doesn't really make sense when you get right down to it. It's a pretty horrible, like, justification of why he's in the suitcase in the first place.
Suitcase. Okay.
Who is this guy?
That's my ex-husband. My former husband.
How did he live here with you guys?
No. I called him over here.
Okay, okay. Here, let's talk in private, okay?
I called you guys. All we had was a bottle of wine. Literally, just a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Doing puzzle artwork. Then we decided to play hide and seek. That's all that happened.
Okay.
I don't think that's all that
Here,
happened.
let me fill this deputy in, okay?
Please may I have my Dr. Pepper? I am
Hold on,
so
one
caught
second.
now.
I'm so thirsty.
I can't remove anything from out of the house.
so thirsty. Like, I'm
Here, I want you to sit down because I don't want you passing out. This is probably a lot for you to deal
I
with,
need
right? Sit.
May I have some water? Just water.
I can get you some water, okay?
The officer then talks to Sarah's ex-husband.
See, she's more concerned with her own physical well-being than she is literally the situation around her, and that's the most one of the most infuriating parts of this whole thing is that she's more concerned about her Dr. Pepper than she is the dead boyfriend in the apartment and the cruel way he died. I would not be thinking about like, God, I'm thirsty. Can I go get something? I may make like an offhand comment just being like, man, I need something to drink, but then continue going. But then again, I wouldn't be as guilty as sin as Miss Boone is, so my brain just doesn't work like that.
About 11:30 is when I started calling to find out because this is supposed to be her day.
He referred to the fact that Sarah was meant to have custody of their son today.
She's generally not very good about always doing it.
They called back and said she was still there, or she came back at the post office.
Just gonna later assume that she doesn't get drunk at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got over here, told her she need to call 911, get somebody over here, and then basically she said she needed to go outside, have a drink and a cigarette.
Notice as well with how he's talking versus how she's talking. He's talking very slow, very calm, very matter-of-factly, giving precise times and reasoning and everything else that's going on. He's very straight to the point. He's very slow with what he's saying to make sure that what he's saying is being heard. Whereas when you get back to Boone, she's just going to be going a million miles a minute trying to say something to make sense of it all. And it's a telltale sign of guilt when somebody is speaking incredibly fast because they're trying to make them sound like they know what they're saying because they know exactly what to say. They're saying it so quickly. But then you realize they're saying a lot of stuff but not meaning a whole lot. So one thing to take into account with as far as like sussing out guilt and everything.
But I called her.
Give me 1 second, okay?
He's currently on parole because of it. So
Because of domestic violence with her.
yes.
Oh, okay.
He explains that George has been arrested for domestic violence multiple times against Sarah, and that Sarah's literally bailed him out every time.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, she's getting water from this tap. Probably gonna pass out on us. Okay, well, listen.
The police officer asks the ex-husband to stick around for a little while longer. She then gets a notepad and returns to Sarah to collect more information.
At some point, you put him in the suitcase?
No, he got in the suitcase. So he thought it would be funny to be put in the suitcase. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to joke with you and I'll zip you up and make him, squirm a little bit, whatever it is. But then I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
Where was the suitcase?
Right
When
where
he got
it
in
is.
Right down there?
Yes.
You zipped him in there?
Yes.
Thought he would be funny, a little
It
joke.
was. We both were laughing about it. And then I fell asleep.
Do you know she just contradicted herself? I didn't help him get in the suitcase, but she did help zip him up. So did you help him or did you not? Because it feels like you did put him in there. So, well, here's the thing, Dalton. She's gonna say she doesn't get drunk. She's never been drunk in her entire life. She could drink as much as she wants, and she's never going to get drunk. She's going to swear off this stuff if this is what's going to happen to her.
Where did you fall asleep at?
Upstairs. I just totally
So you
forgot.
began to do CPR on him?
Yes. Yes.
About
And he
what time
gurgled,
this morning
like
did
he
you
gurgled.
start doing that CPR?
No, it was the afternoon. And air was coming out, and he was gurgling, but I could just tell by looking at him.
But you knew how to do CPR. You were doing that on your own?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to sit back down because I don't want
Can
you...
I have one more sip of water, please?
Yeah, go.
Can I have a cigarette, please?
Ma'am, I can't take anything out of the house.
It's on the back porch.
Nope, all of it.
Nope.
Here, okay?
The officer then confirms the ex-husband will be taking custody of the child.
And your child is in school right now. He's not here with you.
No. He's
Okay,
in school.
he's in school. How old is he?
This will be a fun one. He's 9. Third
I
grade.
can't even start with how you would explain something like this. Okay.
The ex-husband leaves, and the officers wait for investigators to arrive.
Not right now. We can't have you go and get anything. Why don't you sit in the shade?
The investigators then arrive.
Hey, Sarah. Did you get enough water? No, if you want to stay seated, don't. I don't want you getting lightheaded. So remember I said the detectives were going to come out and talk to you and go from there. They're here. They're going to ask you a few questions and then go from there, okay? All right.
All right, Sarah. My name's Chelsea. My partner, Scott.
They ask Sarah what happened.
So he decided to get in the suitcase. So I thought it would be funny to, and he was laughing about it too, to dip him up in there. I go upstairs and fell asleep.
That's another thing that I've always found weird is her justification is, ooh, I fell asleep. You know, it happens. You get tired, and it's like, I get it, like, when you, this is me being absolutely serious and playing the devil's advocate. Yes, when you get a little drunk, yes, you get a little tipsy and tired and pass outable. But you don't consciously walk up the stairs and then hit the hay, as it would say, while your significant other is locked in a suitcase and can't breathe and is suffocating to death. It's sort of, you just don't do that. And again, I don't drink. I literally don't. I cannot stand the taste of alcohol. So it's one of the greatest mysteries of this world. Is there a God? Are we alone in the universe? What is a drunk Viger like? These are things that we may never know the answers to. But from just general inference and cultural osmosis of how being drunk's supposed to be like, you don't just consciously walk up the stairs when you're tired and then go to bed when your boyfriend's locked in a suitcase. That kind of stuff just doesn't happen. And then when coupled with the video evidence that they do have, paints a very, very different picture. I don't think they'll show the video in this just because of general sensitivities. But I have seen the video. I have seen the suitcase in question. I have heard him calling out that he can't breathe, that he wants to be let out. And she's just not obliging whatsoever. Not in like a drunken, oh, I can't hear you, I'm so inebriated and incapacitated sort of manner. No, she is consciously aware of what's going on and is willingly allowing the suffering to continue. That's the problem. And I think if they do the portion of the interview where they actually play the videos in front of her, you're going to hear her just bad-mouthing him the entire time as he's like calling out for help. It's heart-wrenching.
I don't know what happened.
Okay.
After you zipped them up, did you move the bag around and mess with them at all? Or picked it up and walked away
I
laughing?
both were laughing about it, but I went upstairs and I fell asleep.
Okay.
I'm afraid for my life. I want you to know that. I am
Why
afraid
is that?
for my life. His family have never liked me.
Gee, I wonder freaking why.
We talked to his daughters yesterday.
No, I mean, like, about this. Does
No.
anyone know? Okay. So
They're going to
it's...
kill me.
Okay, well...
Do they live local?
Yes, they're down the road. They're going to kill me.
The detectives reassure Sarah that she's not about to get murdered, and then go in to investigate the apartment.
Blizzard81467, thank you for the
Sarah,
follow.
I know you're panicking, okay? Just relax. We'll come and talk to you. We'll keep checking on you.
This police officer was brilliant. Her temperament was perfect for the situation. The investigators simply asked Sarah to stay somewhere else for the night, and to come to the police station the following day with any questions she might have. Sarah stayed with her ex-husband, then showed up at the sheriff's office the next day at 3:51 p.m. with an entire handwritten page of questions, the first of which was about when she's getting back her phone.
Okay, I need to play that back.
Stayed with her ex-husband, then showed up at the sheriff's office the next day at 3:51 p.m. with an entire handwritten page of questions, the first of which was about when she's getting back her phone.
She has questions. The first one being, can I have my phone back, please? Oh my god. It's so freaking... The telltale signs of a narcissist. More concerned with me, myself, and I. God, this... I'll just say right now, God, this bitch.
I'm going to have you sit in the green chair that doesn't move. Appreciate you coming in.
Watch her facial expressions as all
Sarah
this
takes out her page of
happens.
questions, which the investigator semi-acknowledges, then brushes off.
So obviously, he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be provided for you free of charge. Understanding these rights, do you wish to continue this line of questioning?
Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Sarah has no idea what just happened.
This morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So
I think this was implying that there might have been some physical abuse either before he got into the suitcase, or perhaps there was an indication that Sarah may have dragged the suitcase up a flight of stairs and then pushed it down. So while he's in the suitcase, he's tumbling ass over backwards. And that's how it ended up in a different position in the second video.
So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little.
I haven't laid a hand on him.
Well, of course you didn't. You put your hand on the suitcase that you locked him into.
Okay.
Forensics have since proven that George sustained his injuries the night he died, and he didn't have them before entering the apartment.
Also, too, he fell off my son's bike.
Okay.
So I don't know. And he's notorious for running into the wall or the hall tree. So
Okay.
The investigator details further injuries, including a contusion on his neck.
And they're all recent. Like they occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Notice how she repeated that and looked at both of them, eyes wide, being like, listen to me. Listen to me. I'm right. I know what I'm talking about. Because I'm the smartest person. You could trust me. Narcissism can only get you so far in this world, and it's not going to get you out of an interrogation room without a pair of cuffs on. I'm just gonna put that one out there too.
I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. We had a good time sitting on the back porch, having wine, and smoking a couple of cigarettes, and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play, and listen to music. That's why.
She had all night to set this up, which is the issue. For all we know, she could have designed this entire scene of events from scratch. There is a 12-hour gap between the timestamp on her videos to the moment police showed up on her doorstep, which is plenty of time to assemble what looks like a very pleasant scene of events that in no way precipitated a drunken act of revenge that ultimately led to murder.
So all of that means absolutely nothing as far as the murder is concerned. As far as the interrogators are concerned, none of that we don't care about that. You've had plenty of time to set that whole scenario up. It's your word against the evidence, and unfortunately the evidence is much more convincing, as is your word, just not the ones you're speaking right now.
Nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on his head and skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
not
force
touched him.
trauma.
Notice how most of the injuries that he's sustained are basically on the left side of his body. He's got a cut on his lip, probably on the left side if I remember. Left forehead, left shoulder. Like he's crunched up in the fetal position and taking blow after blow as he's hitting stair after stair going on the way down.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him. I have no idea. We had a good day. It was a good day. We've had good days lately. It's been good. I don't even know where this is coming from.
The interrogator now brings up Sarah's last call to police, reporting domestic violence.
You said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
No offense to
She
anybody
just
in
referred
this.
to the fact that George didn't face charges for the alleged assault.
No offense to either party or anything, but this was a naturally two-sided toxic relationship. Both parties were at fault, just duking it out with each other consistently. That doesn't excuse Boone at all or grants any more sympathy than George is allowed to have for the situation. Both of them were ill fit to begin with, and either one could walk away, but neither one decided. And unfortunately, in this case, George had to pay the price for it. The shame for him, from what I had heard, he'd sound like he was on the verge of getting his life back together. And then Boone showed up.
Like, we've been good. I don't know if, like, it's since the last time he got out of jail. Like, we've been good, and he's been having his classes.
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer?
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time.
Me. Just like freaking Amato. It's all about me. It's all about I. It's all about number one. Oh, mommy, ma. Yeah, we're probably going to be looking at Mario Kart either tonight or tomorrow. I'm not entirely certain, but we'll see.
He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talk to Brian
how
about
does he
any
end
of
up in
that,
the
but most of the time
suitcase?
when I flee, I go over there.
Is the question.
Sarah is detailing possible motives for retaliation. Routine procedure would be to keep her train of thought locked on this element, provide encouragement and understanding while inquiring further into the suspect's grievances with the victim. The only problem is that the lead interrogator really doesn't like Sarah, and abandons the task of pretending to, which makes this a significantly flawed, yet remarkably entertaining process to bear witness.
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so...
Give or take.
Right.
The investigator challenges an earlier assertion which remodels the discourse, and the suspect then starts defending her relationship with the victim.
I really love him. Like I do. And I feel like I can help him. He came a really
I really
long way,
love him so
and he
much
was
so
trying.
I'm suffocate to death.
She somehow transitions into the principle of how she doesn't normally drink, and it's kinda only because of George that she drinks at all.
The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that...
I think his mother, his father, any other significant family members may know him a little bit better than you. Just gonna put that one out there. Just gonna put that one out there.
I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him.
Sarah talks about George's anger management classes and the supposed progress he was making.
And would always come home and show me his papers. And we would look over his papers together. Where it's like, wow, you actually are learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. He changed.
And that's why you're
Just
still
not-
with him, even though he's done all these things to you. And
when I tell you I love him, I love him.
Just not enough to get him
You have limits.
Everybody tells me that.
At some point, somebody gets enough.
In the next moment, the detective will say, then they have to do something to defend themselves. Sarah's temperament will completely switch at the completion of this sentence.
Then they have to do something to defend themselves.
I would just flee, and I don't know
Whoa.
if you...
Okay, hold the phone up, yeah. She's like on the verge of tears, and all of a sudden just straightens up. Mask goes back on. Matter-of-factly. Watch that again. Watch that frickin' again.
Sarah's temperament will completely switch at the completion of this sentence.
Then they have to do something to defend themselves.
I would just sleep.
Recompose.
And I don't know if you would like to see on
Flip
my
the
phone,
switch.
or I think it's actually on a laptop.
She explains how she once filed a restraining order against George, then for some reason brings up his ex-wife.
When I say a monster, she's a monster. Like, it does,
The interrogator lets her vent about the ex-wife for 2 minutes. She will now bring the focus back to the investigation.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any, like, timelines better? Like, what time you guys were playing, what time he was zipped up in the luggage, what time you went upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
She recalls the game starting at around 4 p.m. and her going to sleep at around midnight.
So I have 4 and I have midnight, so there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or...
Like when we started to play hide and seek.
Yeah.
Again, hide and seek is just a weird choice of
We
game.
went inside probably about...
Just weird.
If I had to guess, we weren't out there too long. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it. Started to paint. Well, started to listen to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off.
That's not how you play hide and seek.
That's what we did.
Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship. When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay.
The suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back.
I don't know if it'll be brought up, but there is, I believe, some sort of indication, either it be a picture or another video that she had posted later, where she had actually zipped her own son up in a suitcase prior to this happening. So there's that implication that not only has she done this before, she's well versed in it. And the fact that she would do this to her own son is also a very big level of concern.
If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not? But obviously, no. I understand, you know, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter. You were laughing, he was laughing. But what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's subtle. But she's doing a telltale lying through her teeth move here. She's saying no, but nodding yes. Watch again.
Something that you guys normally do.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
No.
No?
The genuine confusion on her face is like, why that question? I haven't even gotten my phone back, which was the first question I needed to ask. Because now they're going to pull the rug out from under her.
I think I took a picture of the dog.
Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found.
Here we go.
And it was from your phone.
With regard to the colossal realm of interrogation footage, the level of notoriety these next moments acquired is virtually unprecedented. I feel like this picture belongs on a wall somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Can you see it?
Listen carefully.
You need to move it around. Go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me.
There's Sarah talking.
For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shutting down.
More concerned with the fact that the battery's about to die. Your battery's about to die, your evidence is going to get lost, I'm going to get away with this scot-free.
Oh, okay.
Let me
Sarah may have been hoping that that was the end of it. Really can't say that I blame her for that.
But...
Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
Play me. I don't want to watch my boyfriend suffocate again. Frickin' bitch.
I don't know how much I can take. Do I have to watch this?
Yes.
I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Too
We
bad.
either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. So we get to watch your boyfriend suffocate in a suitcase while you verbally mock him for it in a drunken stupor, which you said you weren't possible at getting. Yeah, this is where it's all going to fall apart for you, Missy.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
Listen.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you. Stupid. Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it up. Sarah.
I don't want to watch it, please.
You had no problem recording
I'm
it.
saying that he can't breathe, and you're saying fuck
So
you.
this is upside down.
The interrogators should not be cutting each other off, but their missteps can be forgiven on this occasion due to the power of the evidence, which
Yeah.
the lead detective will now focus on.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
Oh, that's killing you right now, as opposed to the suitcase that was killing George about 24 hours ago. Sure.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
How'd
I
it move?
flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep.
But you still did.
Well, that's what you did.
But
Exactly.
not intentional, though.
No, you told me you went upstairs.
Every step was intentional. Every single one, and then you got into bed, pulled the sheets over, and then fell asleep. Every single action there was intentional.
Because
What?
you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Just to be clear, Sarah still has no idea how screwed she is. She just referred to an earlier statement that she didn't lock up the suitcase all the way, so George could get out.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out.
It's, and his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no
gap.
hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like,
The truth would help. It's kind of what we want right now.
I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other
I
video.
understand. I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like a.
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
Her
My
facial
intention
expressions
was
are
not to leave
just
him in there.
windows to the soul.
Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
This video is.
Her eyes are going wide. She's being very expressive because her mind is racing. Because she knows how screwed she is. She knows they've got a slam dunk case right now. She is at the scene. She could have stopped it. She did not. So now she's guilty through negligence. Which is just as good as any other first-degree murder charge. Second degree at the very least, but she's getting locked up for the rest of her life. And it's freaking bonkers that she thinks she can sort of stumble and stammer her way out with as much expressiveness as she can. But again, she's going to be very expressive. A lot of head movements, a lot of hand movements, eyes blinking in and out wide like a deer in the headlights. she's going to be saying stuff, but she's not going to really be saying anything. It's just wonderful just to see how much she's got to climb to try and make sense of anything.
About 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to recording this?
No.
I think we've all gathered by now that Sarah might be twisting the truth in her favor a little bit. She seems to have forgotten that 2 minutes ago she claimed to have no recollection of this incident. So her impeccable memory all of a sudden seems rather selective.
True.
But I didn't think that he
Oh, now you remember it.
like panicky. Like
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, 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 I can't breathe. And you're the only one laughing.
Okay.
And you're the only one saying derogatory comments. Like you're mad.
No.
Yeah.
Please don't, I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but like it's like you guys are kind of trying to like feed me.
The interesting thing about Sarah is that her intuition is correct. She sort of recognizes what the police are doing here, but still has no idea of the ramifications. Her energy resembles that of someone who feels the police are about to start rumors about her.
Like,
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
Yeah.
my plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep.
But you
My plan
still
was not-
did.
He'll be up here.
If that
anyway.
wasn't the plan, why'd you
But
still go
willingly went
through with
upstairs
it?
and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase.
But you still did.
Take him out.
Because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think he's asking to come out? He
I
can't
didn't do it
breathe.
intentionally.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not zipping it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was
She didn't.
not to leave him in the
And what was
suitcase,
your plan?
waiting for him to come upstairs. I thought it was like, I thought he was okay. Like I didn't. That you
He's
all.
telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
So yeah, she's
Guys,
registering what he's
That's
saying.
how we are with each other. The whole suitcase thing
Killian, thank you for the
never
follow.
happened before.
Sarah tries to move on to another topic, but the interrogator doesn't allow it and brings her back to the specifics of the evidence.
Again, his head is closer to us facing the video, so we should be able to see fingers, and we don't see anything. We see no movement of him trying to unzip it or physically unzipping it. All we see is pushing up, trying to push out of it.
Please do not assume.
Too
And he
late.
went in, so why didn't you take him out?
Because I was upstairs and I fell asleep.
No, before you went upstairs. You, like, consciously had to walk upstairs.
Exactly.
I mean, you obviously remember going to bed because you were able to give me a time frame on that. And you specifically told me that you went upstairs.
My intention is not for this to happen. I am sick about it. I've never done anything like this before in the past.
Well, I would
I'm
hope you
sick.
haven't.
The lead interrogator starts playing the video as Sarah is mid-sentence reiterating her innocence.
I don't
This is a beautiful
know.
moment too.
I mean, I don't know what you all want me to tell
Literal ghosts from the past coming back to haunt her. It's freaking wonderful.
you because this was not in any way, shape, or form.
You admit to moving the suitcase, like, over. So
You roll it.
You roll it out, like, it's not like
I didn't want it to be like that.
you didn't want him to be upside down. How do you even get upside down?
Right. You guys are killing me right now. I don't know how you want me to say it. I didn't mean to leave him in there.
Okay.
What's your reasoning for not calling 911?
She's blinking a lot too,
I didn't know what to do. and
showing
how
clear
horrific it was.
agitation and anxiety.
I called Ryan, and like what, 5 minutes later I called you guys? Not even 5 minutes. And it was continually doing CPR with
No, you
the
weren't.
dispatch on the phone.
So when he asked to be let out, like, what's your reasoning for not?
When I was upstairs,
No, when he's asking on the video, he asked multiple times. He asked to be let out. I can't breathe. Why didn't you let him out?
well, number one, I had no idea it was going to end like that.
Okay.
Number one.
Okay.
Number two, just, you know what? I'll give you 5 minutes or so in there. I'll give you 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes for what?
To die.
This was an absolutely imperative moment to allow the suspect to elaborate, but the lead interrogator cuts her off.
Well, based off the video, one video's at 11:12 and the next one's at 11:23, so you actually gave him at least 11 minutes per video recording. So my thing is, when it stopped, he asked multiple times, I mean, why? Why did you not let him out? It's just a simple question.
To be honest with you, I mean,
Don't
Were
know.
you punishing him?
no. Just,
Well, that's what you're saying in the video.
This is what you get, this is what you make me feel like.
see, and then it's all backfired on me. I will never drink alcohol again.
Okay.
I don't care what it is in any way, shape, or form.
Don't
I am
Let's
care.
get back to this. When he's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe, let me out, and you say, fuck you, why don't you just let him out? What are you trying to prove to him? There was obviously something in your head
Kayla
that you
Lover,
were
thank
thinking of
you for the
when he was
follow.
asking to be let out, and you're like,
Again, it's the
no.
boy calling wolf. And it's
That's not how that goes. And I don't know how that correlation's supposed to connect to this at all. Again, her mind is racing as she's trying to claw her way out of the inescapable situation that she's found herself in.
fair. It is not fair. You guys are trying to, again, he's in there. Night, night.
He's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe.
I don't know what you want me to tell you.
The truth, bitch. That's what we want you to tell. Why'd you lock your boyfriend up in a suitcase and let him suffocate to death? Why the frick did you do that?
Like, I didn't intentionally mean for this to happen.
But it still freaking happened, so... Again, you're saying a lot, but not really saying anything.
But my question is, why didn't you just let him out prior to going up?
I don't know why.
He's begging to be let out. He's not laughing. He's not having fun.
So are you guys, so what is it you're trying to,
We're just trying to figure out why.
Why? What?
Why?
What was the motivation for
Glad to hear that,
leaving him in the
Mina.
back?
Why he was left in the bag? Why the video?
I didn't have any motivation. It was he and I having a great day, fooling around and being stupid.
You know, it's a good analogy for the day, excluding the fact that he's got a bump on the back of his head, a bump on the front of his head, and his lip is busted, and he has a
Oh my
bump on his
gosh.
eye. I mean,
I don't know what you all want me to tell you.
What happened?
This is not fair that you all are assuming that that's from me.
where else did it come
If
from?
you were, say it's opposite, you were in the suitcase and you're asking to be let out, should they not let you out?
Eventually. I'm guessing. I mean, I'm blaming it on the wine.
Blaming it on the wine. After talking to you, everything was laughing and fun. Now we're watching a video where it's not laughing and fun. He's begging for his life, and you are in a very angry voice telling him to fuck off.
No. It's not fair that you guys keep trying to say that that's what I did.
Well, it's... The fact is that we've got video proof that shows you did. We got video of him locked in a suitcase, asking to be let out because he can't breathe, and you're over there telling him, F you, and then consciously going up the stairs and falling asleep and letting him suffocate to death for the next 12 hours or so.
If he could push it open, why wouldn't he have gotten out himself? Why would he beg you to open it?
I tell you he can't breathe.
Okay.
If someone can do something for themselves, they're going to do it. They don't need assistance.
You two didn't lay hands on each other.
No.
You two didn't lay hands on each other. But there is previous bouts of domestic violence committed by both parties. So it's needless to say that there is a possibility that Sarah is very much competent enough to do something as crazy as this.
No. I don't have anything.
You're right. You're telling us that we're assuming stuff, but what we're simply doing is telling you what we saw in the video and repeating what you told us.
I understand. Because I don't remember that.
Okay?
Well, she remembers bits and pieces of it. Only the pieces that are beneficial to her. And spoiler alert, none of this is beneficial to her. So
Doesn't mean it didn't happen just because you don't remember it.
Sarah now gets freaked out by the male detective. She thinks he's texting someone about her, which creates an absurd yet hilarious moment.
So, is the texting thing something about me? Like, what's...
The what? Texting? Oh, no.
the texting thing, no, I'm just doing the funny boat game.
I have one last question. You realize you're the person that killed him, right?
I thought about that.
Okay, you left him in a bag when he's begging you, saying, I can't breathe, let me out, and you said, fuck you.
Not intentionally.
You got up, and you went up to bed.
You all?
Please sit down.
Listen to me.
Please sit down, bitch.
Not intentionally.
Okay, so she just double corrected herself. She said, I did not intentionally. So now those two nots cancel each other out. So she did intentionally do this. Good thing we got some clarification on that. Anthony Xbox, thank you for the follow. But look, again, she does a double correction there, and it's wonderful. She double contradicts herself.
You all?
Please sit down.
Listen to me. I did not intentionally kill him.
I got you on video screaming, fuck you.
This is what it feels like when you're choking me. There's still feelings towards it. You wouldn't say it if you didn't feel it.
You flipped the bag around several times.
That's
I didn't
enough.
do that intentionally.
You didn't intentionally flip the bag around?
No. Why would I do that?
Well, you
Good
told us
question,
you
you
did
did.
it.
Yeah, you did. She literally, previously she did just say, yes, she flipped the bag over. So now she's contradicting herself again.
When he was upside down.
Right.
Well, you had to put him upside down.
You can't get in a suitcase upside down because...
It had to have been on its back with the lid open for him to get in there, for you to zip it up. Then it shows it on the other side with him in it, so you had to flip it to there. Then there's another video where it's on its back again, so you had to flip it to
I'm
there.
leaving it like this, please. I'm leaving it like this. I did not intentionally do this.
You left him in there.
And again, she's saying, I did not do this. She's saying no, but nodding yes.
You did trying to dance around the fact you left him in there.
This is not...
You didn't leave him in there?
It's not cool. Like, this is not cool.
It's not cool. You intentionally left him in there and left the room. You went upstairs to a different room.
I would do anything for him.
Well, you gave up checking up on him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let him out of a suitcase.
Yeah.
Anybody look at it, I don't think anybody would look at that video and go, George is having fun right now.
Oh my gosh, this bitch. Frickin'. If there's ever...
Look at it, I don't think anybody would look at that video and go, George is having fun.
Hold that thought. I'm busy drinking here. I don't care I murdered a man. Let me drink in peace. Frickin'.
Right now.
The discourse repeats itself a few more times, and then Sarah brings out her list of questions.
So, am I getting my phone back?
No.
Not today.
What about Lucas's laptop?
No.
Not today.
How do I go about getting his wedding ring?
You don't.
It's at the medical examiner's office. It'll come to us eventually, and then...
It'll be released to the next of kin.
Yeah, okay.
I bought it for him.
I don't care.
That is a civil issue. It was on his finger. It goes to them. They're the ones that are going to release it. We don't have any say in that.
So I won't get that back.
I don't care. Okay. More materialistic than I've ever freaking seen anybody. I murdered a man, but can I have his shit? Can I please? Can I have my phone back? Can I have my laptop back? That ring that I bought him, can I have that too?
So, what's next?
You go to jail for the rest of your freaking life, you narcissistic asshole.
They're going to come and swab your fingers.
No, I'm talking about, like, in the long run. Like, what
Yeah, you're going to be locked up for the rest of your life in prison, you dumb bitch.
do I need to, like, do I need to be doing something, or, like...
I can't tell you, like, what to do.
I mean, like, so, like, for... Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know if you guys are just gonna, like...
No, she's saying
I'm not
like
admitting
a
anything
lot.
About
Which means she doesn't really know what she's doing.
Like, so, like, I don't understand, like, I don't know if you guys are just gonna, like, I'm not admitting.
Typical public speaking shtick. You sound more with it, composed, and actually know what you're talking about if you don't use like all the time. So, like, if, like, I was gonna, like, be a lot, like, better at, like, talking, I wouldn't be saying like a lot. Because it just seems like I don't know what I'm talking about. Or I'm just making it up as I go. Which is not very authentic at all, too. Classic high school public speaking frickin' tactic right there.
Anything about being intentional, and
we told you everything that we have. You know everything that we know.
Can you frickin' stop doing that? One moment, I'm drinking water. Frickin'. That's also just a teenager thing as well, Dalton, just saying like a lot. But she's a 42-year-old woman. Hashtag grow up a bit.
So after this, what? I'm done?
Pretty much.
In itself, for me to have to live with getting him out and doing what I did is punishment enough.
You were just about 12 hours too late.
I have to live without him now.
His daughters, too.
Are you trying to make it worse?
Oh my friggin' god. In that situation, if I was in her boots, if I was in her shoes, and it's like, his daughters have to live with it too, I would have just been like, that's right. But no, she's like, why you gotta make this worse?
Sorry, what?
Are you trying to make it worse?
No, I'm making it more realistic.
CSI, that was there yesterday.
Forensics take her DNA and fingerprints. The investigators then return.
Okay, Sarah. So, you're not free to go?
Nope.
Okay.
This comment seriously puts Sarah on edge, but she still won't quite be fully aware of what's happening. This is coupled with the fact the investigators now try to get a solemn declaration out of her to close out the interrogation. The psychological dynamics of the moment are extraordinary.
Oh, do you promise everything you told us was the truth? Or no? Everything we've talked about today?
Yes. What do you mean?
The investigator explains that it's just protocol.
Do you promise and swear that everything we've talked about today has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge.
Correct. Yes.
Why?
That's how you
talk to somebody,
The male detective re-explains that it's just routine, only in a far more comforting tone. But the tone doesn't do a whole lot to reassure Sarah. She looks about ready to get swallowed up by a wormhole and take her chances in a separate dimension.
Not a trick question.
What a way to describe that.
To the best of your knowledge.
Everything that you've told us today is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, but it was not intentional.
Okay. Okay.
All right, do me a favor, stand up. I need you to turn around, face the wall.
You were under arrest for first-degree murder.
That I should know about.
Why is this happening?
Because George is dead.
Yup.
Not intentionally. So this was a trick.
Nope.
You were read your rights.
Why is this happening?
Because you killed a man.
Before y'all said I could leave. So what am I supposed to do now?
Pay for your crimes.
I had a sneaky suspicion this was going to happen. And I need water, like, really bad, please.
Oh my god.
You all check me down here.
An officer comes to take Sarah to the jail, but Sarah has questions first.
Those holding cells, the holding cells, am I going to be put in one of those?
I don't know.
Last time I had a panic attack.
I don't care.
I don't know. Go ahead, stand up.
I have not.
So what am I going to do with my purse?
Who cares?
What made you all decide to do this?
The law decided.
To do this?
Uh-huh.
George is dead.
Exactly.
You guys, I knew this was going to happen.
You did?
Sarah was taken to the Orange County Jail at 5:44 p.m. She was charged with second-degree murder and held without bond, which keep in mind was in late February of 2020, just before the entire planet went into lockdown due to a pandemic. So Sarah must have had a real fun time getting acclimated to the new environment. She's been in the county jail since, with a trial date set for April 10th of this year. She's currently working with her 7th attorney. 6 have already filed motions to get the fuck out of there, and all of them cited the same reason, which was irreconcilable differences.
April 10th, that's coming up. That is coming up. We thought the Murdaugh family murders were going to be a thing. This is going to be a hoot and a holler to deal with. The fact that nobody wants to freaking defend her just because of the overwhelming freaking evidence that exists is freaking phenomenal. Oh, you love to see it. I mean, you don't love to see any of that freaking happening. It's sad that a man's freaking dead in probably the most horrific, one of the most horrific ways you could possibly imagine. Suffocating to death in a suitcase while your girlfriend's just screaming you at him. That is not a way to go. That is just not a way to go. And the fact that hopefully things go according to plan. April 10th, that's 2 weeks from next Monday. About 2.5 weeks from now. We're going to be having that court case happening. That's going to be... Oh, that's going to be a joy to just see just all go down and everything. But I think that's where I'm going to leave the stream for now. I don't know if I'm going to start up again. But I've got at least 2 uploads to work with as far as this VOD is concerned. So yeah, I'm gonna get all of that going for. Well, usually in the U.S. law system, usually first-degree murder usually equates to a life sentence, depending on the severity of the death itself, and depending on the state in which it's taking place in. The death penalty might be a thing to consider as well. I honestly don't think they're going to make that push. I think they are just going to go for a simple life sentence without the possibility of parole. Because, yeah, just make her life as uncomfortable as freaking possible just to spite her is probably even worse than life in prison. So, yeah, I think I'm going to leave the stream where it is right now. I got the 2 uploads that I need to get working on and get uploaded and everything. I don't know if I will hop back on for Mario Kart tonight or tomorrow. Whichever one comes first. Who knows? But, yeah, thanks for everyone for stopping by. Again, I want to make this a regular thing. It probably won't be the usual, like, SMG4 and JCS uploads, but it is something that may happen depending on how frequently JCS uploads. But yeah, with all of that being said, guys, I will see you guys when I see you guys, and as always, toodles.